It has been a spectacular start to the season for the Blue Jays. Walk-off victories on Friday and Saturday, and now a chance on Sunday to sweep away the Athletics. Let's take you up to the broadcast booth on Junior Jays Sunday and visit with Dan Shulman and Joe Siddall.
Jamie, it's a new look double play combo for the Blue Jays this season. Andres Jimenez at short, Ernie Clement at second, and Joe, already on the young season, they have contributed offensively and defensively.
They were complementary pieces last year. I think this year they are going to be key pieces for the Toronto Blue Jays. Andres Jimenez is off to a 6-for-8 start. He has driven in 4 already, including the walk-off winner on opening night, getting the Blue Jays off on the right foot in this 2026 season. A day later, it's Ernie Clement. He's 4 for his first 10. He had a couple of doubles on opening night. He had the walk-off winner on Saturday in the 11th inning to give the Blue Jays a 2-0 start. Been a lot of emotion in this building, but on this side of the ball, this is going to be as good a pair in the middle of an infield in Major League Baseball. This is Braden Fisher getting a huge ground ball off the bat of Jacob Wilson. He turns it. The pitchers love it. Braden Fisher says, whoa. We'll get to see a lot more of that this season.
And if you wondered, given all that happened in October, if the Blue Jays could come out of the gate with a lot of intensity, a lot of emotion, a lot of excitement, the answer is clearly yes. They go for a sweep of the A's here this afternoon.
Wouldn't that be something? Here we go then. Andres Jimenez coming off a 4-hit game. He and Okamoto are set to go, and so too is starter Eric Lauer, who makes his first appearance of the year. We'll have first pitch at the Rogers Center on Sportsnet right after this.
And it's a close one, folks.
This game is
Rogers Blue Jays baseball on Sportsnet. And welcome back to Rogers Center. Dan Schulman, Joe Siddall, Hazel May. The Blue Jays, it's been an eventful couple of games. Stressful, nail biters, but they have won, both of them, a couple of walk-off victories today. They try to put a capper on this season opening series with a sweep of the A's if they can win today. And they try to keep Shea Langoliers in the ballpark. Joe, that has been a challenge thus far. And with a lefty on the mound and Eric Lauer, A's manager Mark Kotsay has elevated the dangerous Langoliers up to the leadoff spot. The catcher is DHing today, so Austin Wins is getting a start behind the plate. Again, a lot of thunder, a lot of power up in the top four spots in this lineup. It will be a challenge for Eric Lauer, who will get the start here in the third game of the season.
And he is doing what he loves best. That is starting pitching. 28 games for Lauer last year. 15 of those were starts. A wonderful 3.18 ERA. Remember, he started the season out of the bullpen, a couple of starts, then he went back to the bullpen, and then he rattled off 13 straight starts, pitching to an ERA just over 3.5. The Blue Jays went 11-2. His manager called him the MVP at one point last year. Defensively behind Lauer, Jesus Sanchez gets his first start in a Blue Jays uniform. He'll start in left field, Varsho back in center, and Addison Barger back into the lineup in right field for John Schneider's club this afternoon. Okamoto and Jimenez on the left side, Ernie Clement and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. on the right side, and Tyler Heineman debuts in his 2026 season as well behind the dish.
So some guys who hadn't started yet get a start here on this Sunday afternoon. Heineman in the crouch behind the plate. Langoliers in the box. Ryan Blakeney is your home plate umpire today. Another nice crowd here on this Sunday as Langoliers steps in against Lauer. And he misses up and away. Ball one on the first pitch of the afternoon. Swing and a miss, and it is 1-1. You mentioned Lauer bouncing back and forth. Kind of his blessing is his curse, right? His versatility. They need him here, they use him here. They need him there, they use him there. And not shy about saying, hey, he wants to be a starter. I mean, who doesn't? Everybody tries to be a starter at the outset of their career. He's in a contract year, a free agent at the end of the season. And who knows, probably would not be in the rotation but for the injuries right now for Bieber and Barrios and Yasavage. We'll see how it works out. Yasavage looking on again here today, heading back down to Florida shortly to resume his throwing program. But Eric Lauer was actually fourth on the team in innings pitched last year. Kevin Gausman, Chris Bassett, Jose Barrios, and then Lauer was next at 104 2/3 innings, and they were valuable innings a season ago. Popped up right side, out of play.
Eric always talks about the elevated fastball. That's what comes naturally to him. He knows that he is going to have to try to stick some four-seamers down in the zone as well. He's trying to broaden his arsenal a little bit. He said to expect more changeups this season and just trying to be a little bit more unpredictable.
He threw in a simulated game, an intra-squad game, Monday in Dunedin. It wasn't on TV. Guys were changing teams. There were 2 outs in this inning, 4 outs in that inning. It was one of those where they tried to control things and just get the guys to get their work in. Swing and a miss. There's the high fastball to get him. So Lauer is built up. More on that game in a moment. But boy, he went right after Langoliers with a high heater, and he got it by him.
And there is that four-seam grip. You see those 2 fingers right across the seams, and that gives him that good ride at the top of the zone.
So Lauer strikes out the first batter he faces today, and here is Nick Kurtz, who led off the first 2 games, hitting in the 2 spot today. So in that intra-squad game down in Dunedin, and I was there sitting in the press box again. It wasn't on radio, it wasn't on TV. Guys were changing teams. But Lauer made it a point, Joe, to work on his changeup. Now, I don't know if we'll see it much to the lefties, but he's going to face a lot of right-handed batters. But he purposely worked a lot on what he called his weakest pitch. It's sometimes his least used pitch. And again, we'll see if that translates into the season, but he wants to use that changeup more.
He used it a lot because he wants to see that it can play. But he also said when the regular season rolls around, it is time to compete. He's got a lot of weapons.
And he strikes out another one. Back-to-back Ks for Lauer to begin the ball game.
Well, the Blue Jays starting pitchers are having their way with the Athletics hitters. The strikeouts just piling up. Eric Lauer, not necessarily known to be a Kevin Gausman or Dylan Cease, but he has beat these A's hitters early.
So it's 92-93, and he's getting it by very dangerous hitters here to start the game. Here's another one at Brent Rooker. Popped up, maybe playable. Nope, up in the netting. So what is it about the fastball that makes it play up or be a little bit more difficult to hit than the velocity would suggest?
It's got that good ride at the top of the zone. The baseball comes off of different pitchers' fingers a different way. And when you're 92 and you see the swings that we're seeing, that pitch looks 96, 97, but it is perceived to the hitter as being harder than what we're seeing numbers-wise. Tougher to get to.
In there at the knees, and it's 0-2.
He will use the cutter, the curveball, that changeup we talked about, an occasional slider.
Got him! What a way to start the day for Eric Lauer. Back-to-back changeups to get Rooker, and Lauer strikes out the side here in the top of the first. Eric Lauer announcing his presence with authority, to borrow a line from a movie, striking out the side in the top of the first, and nobody appreciates good pitching more than other pitchers. Gausman and company loving what they just saw from Eric Lauer in in the top of the first. On to the bottom of the first, how about Ernie Clement and his third career walk-off hit yesterday? As Joe mentioned, Jesus Sanchez in the lineup, Tyler Heineman in the lineup here today, Addison Barger back in there in the cleanup spot, and they will face a young man, 23-year-old Luis Morales, just his second year, first full year in the big leagues, and a guy with a big power arm.
Average fastball up over 97 last year. He debuted August 1st with the Athletics out of the bullpen. He then went on to make 9 straight starts for the Athletics in 25.
George Springer, first pitch swinging, deep left field, gone! First of the season, and the Blue Jays strike early.
I'm not sure Blue Jays hitters are going to ask George, hey George, what's he got? He's got a fastball at the top of the zone, and he just put it into the left field seats.
That's it.
So the pitcher strikes out the side in the top half, and then the leadoff hitter homers on the first pitch of the bottom half. What a way to get things going here on this Sunday afternoon. Second team home run this year for the Blue Jays. Alejandro Kirk hit one in the 9th inning yesterday. And here's Jesus Sanchez, hits it hard, but Jacob Wilson, the shortstop, makes a nice play for out number 1.
Oh, we talked about the high velocity from this Athletics right-hander, but George has a scouting report, and I think he was thinking, well, I'm going to tee up on that heat early, and he got a pitch kind of middle in at the top of the zone, and he got the barrel to it.
Springer with 32 home runs a year ago. Here's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He'll go after the first pitch, and he pops it up for Wilson at short. 2 down.
Well, you know, George has done this his whole career. He's not afraid to go up hacking. And when you get a young pitcher like this, what do you think he wants to do? He wants to get ahead. A big issue for Morales in his young career is falling behind hitters. So George goes up there in swing mode, and he gets a pitch in the zone.
You can see 97 miles an hour, the average velocity on the fastball for Morales, who went from AA to AAA to the big leagues a year ago. Here's Addison Barger. 0 for 5 so far on the young season. Did have a sacrifice fly yesterday. And he goes after a fastball and fouls it back right in our direction. Might have wound up just underneath us on the 300 level. We don't see many foul balls come this high. Even when you're strong, sometimes even the pop-ups and the foul balls are impressive.
True. They go higher. They go farther.
Out back again, 1-2.
Well, walks can certainly be an issue for Morales, as it is with any pitcher that throws in the upper 90s or any young pitcher. He worked on some of his mechanics in the offseason, and that's what I think attributed to some of his struggles throughout spring training. Walks were clearly an issue. He's trying to get back to being himself and getting to better pitchers' counts.
Did he go? No, says Trip Gibson. 2-2. This will be the issue for Mark Kotsay and the A's. They're going to slug. They're going to hit. But do they have enough pitching to be a competitive, possibly a contending team in the American League West? They won 76 games last year. They've been trending in the right direction. From 50 to 69 to 76. Can they get over 500? Maybe be a factor in the wild card race? Will count.
That's a great pitch by Morales. It's a great take by Barger, really not even offering at it. He must have picked that pitch up very well.
3-2 on the way. And this one is ripped down the right field line, but it's foul. That was 98.3 miles an hour, and Barger pulled it foul.
And that's one of those cases where I think if you're Barger, you must be saying here early, he needs to throw a fastball right here. He needs to be in the zone. He was all over it.
And then he crossed him up, went off speed to get Barger in the inning. But the Blue Jays have an early lead. And And early in the sense of the first pitch of the bottom of the first, George Springer leaving the yard for the first time this season.
Yesterday's major league debut as, quote, surreal, admitting to blacking out just a little bit en route to collecting his first major league victory. Not bad for a Rule 5 pick who grabbed that final spot in the opening day bullpen. And guys, I spoke with pitching coach Pete Walker, who described Miles's outing as impressive. He came into camp a little nervous and inexperienced, but at the end of spring training, he had settled in. Walker said Miles had tremendous stuff, a plus mix of breaking stuff, basically learned the slider in one day. He throws 98 and has a sinker as well. Now, it's just a matter of getting more comfortable while gaining experience. And Miles has all the intangibles, Walker told me, to be an effective major league pitcher. Dan.
Hazel, thank you. It's a really unusual, interesting story on a number of levels. First of all, a team that wants to contend doesn't often take somebody in the Rule 5 draft, because that's more for a team that's in a development stage. They can afford to, see if this guy works out. Can you carry him on the roster all season? Next level, he's only pitched 14 2/3 professional innings in his career prior to this season because of back surgery and Tommy John surgery. In pro ball 3-4 years, but has barely pitched because of health issues, and had not pitched above A ball before this year. Now, he's a big guy. He's got some confidence. We've talked to him, got some stuff. You can see that. You saw that yesterday. Then you're saying, okay, well, you're going to ease him in, maybe up 4 or down 4 or something like that. Well, hey, 11th inning tie game. You're the guy we're calling for, and it really was quite a performance. You can see how much fun he's having. I mean, being in a big league ballpark, being on in a tie game of the 11th inning, and then the first batter hits a comebacker to him, and he's got to now initiate a rundown between second and third, which he did perfectly. Lots of good stuff.
It's a tricky play, too, especially you talk about a guy in his major league debut. A lot could go wrong in terms of handling the baseball, but he handled himself pretty well. Best thing he did is gave the ball to his middle infielder.
Tyler Soderstrom gets one in the air to right center field. Varsho is there. One down. So, funny little side story, and you were there for part of this down in Dunedin when I was talking to Spencer Miles, just doing some research on him, getting to know him. And I said, hey, you went to the University of Missouri, right? Same as Max Scherzer. And he goes, yeah. And I said, did you know Max at all, like before this year? And he goes, well, we went sledding together once. And I said, excuse me? And so I think I use the term tobogganing. I think you do as well. But this is what he meant. And I said, what are you talking about? Because Miles is 25 and Max is 41. And he said, well, I'm from Columbia, Missouri. I went to Missouri. Max went to Missouri. My baseball coach when I was a kid was Max's buddy and teammate when Max played at the University of Missouri. His name is Danny Hill. And there's family friendships, all kinds of ties. And he goes, yeah, so one day Max and Danny came over. He goes, we've got a great hill behind our house. He goes, so when I was like 6, Max came over and we went sledding together. And now they're teammates in the big leagues 16 years later. So partly to verify the story, because Spencer Miles was 6 when this happened, and partly because it's always fun to go ask Max Scherzer about anything. I went up to Max and, yeah, absolutely true. And I said, Spencer told me they had a good sledding hill in the backyard. He goes, they had a great sledding hill in the backyard. He said, we built a ramp. So they, so, I mean, in addition to everything else, Spencer Miles is now teammates with Max Scherzer, a guy who, you know, being from Columbia, Missouri, he probably looked up to and idolized as a little kid.
Small world. And to hear Spencer telling that story to you and then Max chiming in too, that was the best. Max loved the hill.
Can you imagine 22-year-old Max Scherzer, faster, just wanting to...
Max, you're under contract. Let's
Right.
stay flat ground now.
Scherzer will make his season debut Tuesday against Colorado. 1-2 the count on Jacob Wilson. And it's down and in.
I remember talking throughout spring training, we were talking about the Rule 5 picks that were in camp, and I said that's the one issue. The Spencer Miles kid, his stuff is so good, but can you trust that? You're trying to win a World Series here, as you said. This is not a developmental season. He is here, and he looked like he'd been pitching in the big leagues for 5 years yesterday. Very comfortable with his stuff.
I think a couple of separators for him in a positive sense. Obviously, the stuff is really good, but the fact that he can go 2 innings, that's really important, because if he is going to be, at least for now, kind of a last man in the pen, you know, we will use you when we need you kind of guy. That can't be a 1-inning guy.
Yeah, and that might have a little to do with being, you got to be in the zone a little bit more. Now, he talked about he's got a great wipeout curveball, but that's a tough pitch when it's going straight down to keep it in the zone, and that's why he's throwing this slider down, and it was outstanding yesterday.
Quite a battle here between Lauer and Wilson, who is one of the best contact hitters in the major leagues.
It's the kind of hitter that can give Lauer fits, not necessarily a big swing and miss guy. He will get some whiffs with his breaking pitches, but Wilson is a contact hitter that will test your patience and your arsenal.
This is pitch number 9, and it misses in to run the count full. Max Muncy waiting on deck. 1-0 Blue Jays, top 2. And a swing and a miss. Strikeout number 4.
Well, that's what you can do by moving that fastball around. We talked about how naturally going up in the zone is for Eric, but when you can keep it down there as well, it's a different look to a hitter. And that's an outstanding job. Jacob Wilson has now struck out 5 times in this series. He came in as one of those guys that just doesn't strike out.
The strikeout totals the Blue Jay pitching staff has put up so far this series are remarkable, and part of that, the A's have a lot of young hitters. There is some swing and a miss in their game. But Joe, how about just the 3 starters so far? Gausman, Cease, Lauer. 39 outs so far for the 3 of them. 27 of those 39 outs are strikeouts.
Yeah, it is remarkable. The stuff, of course, coming out of Gausman's hand and then Cease's hand, and even some of the relievers against a team now that they've got a lot of power, but they're swing and miss, and I think they've really taken advantage of that in many ways.
2 balls and a strike on Muncy, the third baseman for the A's, 1 for 8 with 5 strikeouts through the first 2 games of the series.
Lauer's going to do it much differently than what we've seen the first 2 days. Gausman with a nasty splitter, and then Cease had everything working.
You mentioned a few minutes ago how at one point last year John Schneider was asked who's your team MVP, and the first 2 words out of his mouth were Eric Lauer. There were moments last year where they were paper thin. They were struggling to find enough arms to give them good innings. This one's lined to right and caught by Barger. Eric Lauer did a lot of that last year. Gave him some big innings and off to a very nice start here this afternoon. Baseball is back at Rogers Center, and this bird's eye view is provided by WestJet, the official airline of the Toronto Blue Jays. The WestJet drone cam over the aquarium alongside the CN Tower, heading toward the ballpark. We will have it with us quite a bit this year. Really good now, and even better when the roof is open. Obviously, I think people may remember back in the Yankee series, the division series last year, the roof was open in October. The weather was so good and some unbelievable shots. As Kazuma Okamoto leads off the bottom of the second for the Blue Jays. Kaz, as a number of his teammates are referring to him, is 3 for 8 with a couple of walks in the early going. Lifts one in the air to right. Rooker, who generally DHs but is in there in right field today, makes the catch. One down.
Well, Morales will mix in that slider, really forcing fastball slider mix to a lot of these righties, but the fastballs will be up in the zone. He will live up there, and that's why George jumped all over that first pitch. We'll keep an eye on that moving forward. If these Blue Jays hitters are looking for that heater, it's a tough one to get to.
Dalton Varsho looks at a strike. Varsho had a very good game yesterday. He went 2 for 4 with a couple of walks, drove in a run. One of the outs was loud too. Hit a screamer down to first that Nick Kurtz made a play on. As we talked about on opening night, Varsho had a monster spring. Hoping for a healthy year and to carry that over into the 2026 season. Swings through a fastball, 1-2.
Sees catcher set up inside right there. That's Austin Wins behind the plate. That ball came back over the plate, but still a good fastball to get it by Varsho. Will probably still try to crowd him with that fastball and use the top of the zone.
Too high, 2-2. We don't talk about this very much, but it is Dalton Varsho's quote-unquote contract year. He is eligible for free agency at the end of the season. Sounded like a broken bat there on a pop-up to second, and of course nothing precludes him and the team from getting something done if both sides are willing during the year. But it's a big year on a collective level, obviously, for this team. But you've got guys like Lauer and Varsho, and Gausman is in the last year of his deal, and Springer is in the last year of his deal. So a lot of guys who really want to have big years to help themselves and to help their teams. Here's Ernie Clement. Third career walk-off hit for Ernie Clement yesterday. And Ernie's 4 for 10 so far this year, including a couple of doubles on opening night. Up and away, 2-1.
His kind of guy, though. A lot of fastballs, and I would think he's thinking top of the zone if he is looking heater. Breaker.
Breaking ball in for a strike, 2-2.
Throws a slider and a sweeper. The slider is going to be more around 80-81 for the sweeper, and the slider more 84-85. So two different breaks that he'll give two different looks to these right-handed hitters, especially.
Pulled foul until one of those breaking balls again. That might have been the slower one. That's the sweeper at 81. George Springer has homered here today, DHing as we expect him to do most of the time here today. His first home run of the season. Fastball fouled back. That one almost reaching our level, winding up just one level below, just to our right. Everybody okay over in the A's booth, Joe?
Dallas Braden said he just missed it by an inch. You're the pitcher, Dallas.
Might have been a little bit more than an inch, yeah. If he had missed that by an inch, he'd have fallen out of the booth. He's a character, huh?
Yes, he is. He's good fun.
Yep. 2-2 again. Way inside, but Clement goes after it and strikes out to end the inning. And you can see the look on his face, not happy with himself there. 1-0 Blue Jays at the end of 2.
It's opening day of Junior J Sunday, presented by Ontario Homeowner Dealers. Now, I'm so excited to be here at the WestJet flight deck. It's always so much fun up here. And what a fun excitement we had earlier in the game with the team's old mascots featured throughout the season as well. They're coming back to Junior Jays. They're coming back all throughout the season. We've got BJ, Birdie, Domer, and Diamond. So much fun. All the more reason to get the family to come out to a game. You can go to bluejays.com/tickets for more, guys.
And there's some of the mascots from years gone by here for the Blue Jays. Homer Domer in the middle.
Domer.
By the way, Emily's favorite day to do what she does at the ballpark is Sunday. She loves the Junior Jays. She's got a lot of kid in her. 1-0 Blue Jays, top three. Eric Lauer on the mound for the Blue Jays. 6 up, 6 down, 4 strikeouts. Here is Daryl Hernandez getting a start at second base today. You see his numbers a year ago with the A's. Fouls it back, and it's 1-1. He landed the final position player spot on this A's roster this year. He is an infielder, may see a little bit of time here and there in the outfield. Played for Puerto Rico in the WBC. Did he go? He did.
Wow.
1-2. Lauer's having a lot of success early with the high fastball.
He's got the elevated fastball, but he can also use the cutter in. He can backdoor the cutter, so he's got lots of different weapons, and that's that changeup that we'll keep an eye on as well today. We've seen a few of them already.
Stays with the high fastball. No chase. Ball 2. See how out in front Hernandez was there. He pops it up, and Okamoto's got room. 1 down.
Well, that looked like that changeup. It may have cut a little bit, but it worked to perfection because it's down 82, 83 miles per hour after what we're calling it an electric fastball. There's the changeup grip. See, he kind of pulled it a little bit. That'll happen on occasion, but it's the speed of the pitch and the deception that gets him way out front. So that's still well executed.
1 down here in the third, and here's the catcher today. Austin Wins, the backup catcher, getting his first start of the season. 35 years of age. He has seen time with 6 different major league teams. Ground ball weakly hit to short. Right at Jimenez, and on to first in plenty of time. 2 down.
It's remarkable what pitchers can do, and we're watching a guy do it at 90, 92. It can go up, you can go down, you can move it in and out, and they can almost be like 4 different pitches. And you asked me earlier about why that high fastball seems so deceptive. I've had a lot of players tell me it's that slow delivery. He's very slow and methodical, but then all of a sudden that ball is just unleashing out of his hand.
Denzel Clark, the batter, got a fastball and fouled it back. Clark is 1 for 7, 4 strikeouts so far. Again, as we mentioned, but for those who may not have seen the last couple of games, Clark is from Toronto, played for Canada in the WBC, and a gifted defensive outfielder. The ground he can cover out of the outfield is preposterous. But there is, at least at this young stage of his major league career, a lot of swing and miss in his game.
And that changeup right there is preposterous too. That's a tough one for Clark. That's an excellent pitch after that first pitch fastball. Tough sequence that Clark is seeing here.
2 down and 2 strikes on Clark. And it looked like Lauer went back to that change, but this time Clark wouldn't bite.
Great spot to miss. That's where you're trying to get the chase. If you don't, this is what I love with Tyler Heineman back there. You're thinking a pitch or 2 ahead here. If I miss that, do I elevate the heater down?
Just missed outside of the knees. Ball 2. Heineman had a very good year as the backup catcher on this Blue Jays team a season ago. Inside, ball 3.
It's so fun to catch a guy like this because he feels comfortable throwing anything. You could do anything you want here. You could go back with that fastball, or you could throw a 3-2 changeup. I don't think you need to against the number 9 hitter. I anticipate he goes after him with a fastball.
Went after him with a fastball, and he got it. Eric Lauer has been on point here in the early going. 9 up, 9 down, 5 strikeouts here in his first outing of the 2026 season.
New triple cheese poutine.
Every game so meaningful for the Raptors right now. They've got a tough one coming Tuesday night in Detroit as they take on the top team of the Eastern Conference. You can see it at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Sportsnet 1. The Pistons are 54-20. At the moment, the Raptors sit in the 5 spot in the East, but 5, 6, 7 all up for grabs right now. Here it's 1-0 Blue Jays on the George Springer home run. Andres Jimenez leads off the bottom of the 3rd, and what a couple of games for Jimenez. 6 for his first 8 over the last 2 days. This one's got a little bit of carry on it, but Soderstrom backpedals to make the play, 1 down.
Seems like a very innocent flyout right there, but it looks again to his approach is really thinking up the middle the other way and letting that ball travel. So you get your first at bat against a guy throwing with pretty good velocity, and you may say he's a little bit late, but it could also be setting up future at bats in this game. He's in a good spot right now.
Here's Tyler Heineman, and first pitch swinging in his first at bat of the season, and he's got a base hit.
When you're hitting number 9 and you're getting your first start of the season, why would you look for anything else? Tyler goes up looking for the heater, and he gets it. Squares this ball up, drilling it into right field.
Heineman last year hit a very solid .289 and more than did his job defensively. Here's Springer. I didn't think Morales would come back with a fastball on the first pitch of this at bat after giving up a home run on a first pitch fastball in the first.
And it might be why he missed where he did. He was being very careful with it.
That home run for Springer in the first, his 64th career leadoff home run. He is second all time. Ricky Henderson, number 1 with 81. This is popped up, foul, and it will manage to get out of play.
He's such a dangerous hitter because as a leadoff hitter and a pitcher-catcher combination, facing a guy like George, you're just not always necessarily knowing what he's thinking. If he goes up there looking for a slider, do you think, let's go fastball? If he's thinking fastball, do we think? If you're not on the right page and George guesses right, you're in big trouble, and he's done it a number of times in his career.
Something about that elbow guard. I don't know if maybe the Velcro isn't working, couldn't get it back on, but he just threw it away. And he drills the ball to deep center. Clark back, and he is there to make the catch. A well-struck ball by Springer, but there's some of that great range out in center by Clark.
Denzel Clark can make difficult plays look pretty easy. This was easy for him, but he just cruises back, gets such a nice jump on the ball. You see he's shading George to right center, going back, but there's no panic in his game whatsoever. Excellent, excellent center fielder.
2 down, here's Jesus Sanchez. For those seeing him maybe for the first time, this is his first start of the regular season. It picked up in an off-season deal with Houston. Joey Loperfido going back to the Astros. Sanchez last year between the Marlins and the Astros hit .237, 14 home runs, 13 stolen bases. To use a bit of a baseball cliche, he is a toolsy baseball player. If you are into or look at things such as bat speed, exit velocity, he's way up there, and John Schneider has very high hopes that Professor Popkins and company could really smooth out some of the rough edges on Sanchez and turn more of that potential into production.
And this could be an interesting matchup because Morales does use that fastball more at the top of the zone. I think for Sanchez, his strength is lower in the zone, so see if he can't pick something in the bottom half and square it up.
3-0 swinging, deep drive, center field, gone! And Jesus Sanchez with his first big moment as a Toronto Blue Jay.
Fantastic approach by Sanchez. You talk about Professor Popkins. Look for something down in the zone. That is what you do best. And he got a pitch down in the zone from Morales and hit it straight away center field.
417 feet as he puts that home run jacket on for the first time. It is 3-0 Blue Jays. And now a base hit for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. But that home run swing by Sanchez deserves some more looks.
Well, you get yourself in a good count too. You can sit dead red fastball, but he gets it, I think, where his strength is, and that is down in the zone. That's a good approach to hitting. It's one thing to know what your strength is, but then it's another thing to execute, and that's the process that you're trying to do. I'm sure that's where David Popkins and his staff, that's what they're attacking right now. But that's mission accomplished when you hit a pitch that you can hit like that.
Who's having more fun than David Popkins? Maybe Jesus Sanchez right now. It will be interesting. The acquisition of Sanchez crowds the outfield a little bit. A lot of left-hand hitting outfielders, but again, there are certain pitchers where maybe Sanchez matches up better. Certain pitchers where maybe Nathan Lucas matches up better. At times, Addison Barger might come in and play third. And then that opens things up a little bit. But again, that would be a good problem to have if they're trying to squeeze all these guys into the lineup. Production obviously will have a big say in it as well. But he is kind of he's a person of interest right now to see how much the hitting coaches can get him to reach that ceiling of his. He has power. As does this guy. Remember a year ago we were saying some of the same things about Addison Barger. Bat speed, exit velo, potential, ceiling. And we saw him definitely take some big steps in that direction a year ago. But everybody feeling there's another level in there for Barger. This is his first full season. Sharp ground ball to the right side, but up with it Hernandez to make the play and end the inning. But Jesus Sanchez lights up this crowd here at the Rogers Center. A line drive, 2-run homer, and hugs all around in that third base dugout. TV and Food Network are both in free preview this April. Watch exclusive shows like Rock the Block, The Emily Michelle Project, and Andy's East Coast Kitchen Crawl. Check your TV provider. And for much more, here's Hazel.
Dan, thank you very much. What a perfect segue, because I'm here with Food Network's Andy Hay and HGTV's Drew Scott. Listen, the Brothers franchise is hugely popular, and not that you've got anything better to do, but you've just added more work for you with Property Brothers Under Pressure. Tell us about it.
I like pressure. Doesn't everyone like pressure? No, I think today with the housing crisis and where everybody is, home doesn't mean the same thing, because most people feel they can't afford what they want for their home to function in style for their family. So we're bringing this series a way to inspire people, no matter what their story is or where their struggle is at home. We're showing them how they can still have that dream.
That's awesome. Exclusively on HGTV on Sundays, as promised. Andy's East Coast Kitchen Crawl. Like, you couldn't make a title that would be easier for the reporter to say. What can we expect from your new show that will premiere on April?
Yeah, so it's a classic food travel show. There is no kitchen too big, too small. We're seeing some of the best characters all through Atlantic Canada. So we're eating great food, meeting some amazing people, and just showcasing what makes Atlantic Canada so amazing.
How big of a baseball fan are you guys? I'm going to start with you.
You know what? Last year changed my life. I've become a huge Jays fan. My whole household is watching every single game, so I'm a big Jays fan now.
And Drew, I like your jacket, by the way.
I mean, I got a great jacket now. I live in LA, but guess where all the Jays fans were last year too, right? When we were hanging out. But we're going to do better this year. This is it. I tell you, this is the year, and I can feel it. The jacket says so.
All right. Congratulations on your new shows. HGTV, Food Network, free preview. We love free in the entire month of April. I'm going to be watching Andy's show in particular, Dan, because I've got takeout menus in my fridge, guys.
Hazel, thank you. 3-0 Blue Jays, top of the fourth inning. Shea Langoliers, the bat of the leadoff man for the A's. Eric Lauer, if you're just tuning in, 9 up, 9 down with 5 strikeouts, including striking out the side in the first. Langoliers with 3 home runs in the first 2 games of the season, just the second athletic ever to do that, and this is the 126th season of athletics baseball. The only other, a Hall of Famer, Al Simmons, back in 1930, who Joe had one of my favorite nicknames in baseball history, Bucketfoot Al.
Bucketfoot.
Because he stepped in the bucket all the time, but despite doing that, and for people who don't know, so he was a right-handed batter. That means the front leg, the left leg, went way towards third base. He really opened up.
He was cheating.
But in spite of being Bucketfoot Al, he's in the Hall of Fame. Nicknames were great back then. Strike 3 called, and Langoliers knew it.
Well, this fastball is different than we saw from the first 2 starters by the Blue Jays, Gausman and Cease, but it has been more than effective early here this afternoon. He just freezes a very good hitter. That's what I was talking about earlier, and Lauer wanting to stick that fastball at the bottom of the zone on occasion just to give that hitter a different look.
Now Nick Kurtz, who struck out in the first. Kurtz, who is a great young player, a great hitter, the rookie of the year a season ago, 36 homers. In this series is 0 for 7 with 6 strikeouts. Now he's walked 3 times as well, but he's only put 1 ball in play so far in this series. Well located pitch there, 2-1.
You try to sneak out of town without Nick Kurtz hurting you, and then you don't have to see him till September. So that'll be up to Eric Lauer to keep him at bay here.
At the knees, and Kurtz is challenging.
He's a big guy. Thinks the knees are a little higher than that.
And he is correct. It was low, so instead of 2-2, it'll be 3-1. I don't believe the microphone for Ryan Blakeney is working, but we had the visual aid there to help us. So a successful challenge for the A's, and it's 3-1. And that's ball 4. That's their first base runner of the afternoon. Strikeouts are brought to you by Subway's new all-dress sauce, inspired by Ruffles. Try it on your favorite sub today. And Eric Lauer's got 6 strikeouts already in this game. But now his first base runner as Brent Rooker steps in. And he lifts one in the air to center. Varsho racing in and is there in time for out number 2.
It's a good example of how Eric Lauer uses his whole arsenal. I've talked about how effective the fastball has been early this afternoon. This is a cutter, so you're just trying to cut it in on a right-hander just to get off the barrel. Mission accomplished.
He has used 5 different pitches today. Heavy four-seam fastball usage, but has sprinkled in the changeup, the cutter, the curveball, and the slider. That could have been interesting.
I'm not so sure that Eric Lauer didn't fool his first baseman. Vladdy's off the bag there. He's going to play his position. That was one of the better moves we've seen from Eric Lauer, but he caught Kurtz off guard for sure.
The batter, Tyler Soderstrom, who hit a fly ball to center in his first at bat. How about the schedule the A's have to begin the season? Major League Baseball did not do the A's any favors. They're here, then they go to Atlanta. Okay, fine. They go home all the way back to Sacramento for just 3 games. Then they come back to the East Coast again. 3 in New York against the Yankees, and then 3 more in New York against the Mets. That is a brutal schedule to start the season.
It's so tough on them because they had a nice, better second half last year. You're hoping to carry over, but Dan, I wonder how much that has to do too with playing in a minor league ballpark. It's a different organization, the Giants AAA ballpark. You wonder what that does to scheduling, and but that's a tough start. That's a lot of miles in the air.
West Coast teams always have it tougher. Seattle travels more than any other team every single season. Swing and a miss. Another strikeout for Lauer. He has racked up 7 of them already here today. Having his way with the Athletics here on this Sunday afternoon. Are you a Rogers customer? It's Canada's winning inning. When the Blue Jays get a hit in this winning inning, you could win amazing prizes courtesy of Rogers Beyond the Sea. Bottom 4, 3-0 Blue Jays. Kazuma Okamoto to lead it off for the Blue Jays at a fly ball to right in his first at bat. Speaking of winning, I got a little fun fact for you. By winning yesterday, the Blue Jays franchise record going back to 1977 as Okamoto drills one high, deep, gone. first home run as a Blue Jay, and it is 4-0. Big time power to the opposite field for Kazuma Okamoto.
He came into this ball game with a few hits already in his first 2 games in a Blue Jays uniform, but that one has to feel real good. He came here with a power bat, and to show that early in the season, he's got these fans on their seats. Going to right center.
Wow. Look at the smile on his face. He'll show some emotion every now and again. 6 times in Japan, 30 or more home runs. I don't know what number you guess or you mark down for him, but Joe, that was no cheapie.
I don't think you can predict it. You sit back and enjoy it, because swings like that will be a lot of fun to watch.
I didn't notice it after the home run, but he and Vladdy had a spring training handshake. Obviously, Vladdy's the guy who initiated that. Vladdy told me he wanted to refine it, make it a little more, make it something a little bit different. But Okamoto spoke to him through his interpreter Yusuke Oshima back in Dunedin. He said, in Japan we don't do like individual handshakes with everybody. So now he's got all these new teammates working on that kind of thing for him. Like, never mind the baseball. He's got to perfect that as well. Glad he'll make him do it. There's Yusuke. Always a smile on his face. Yusuke was here when Yusei Kikuchi was here, then went to Anaheim with Kikuchi, but has now come back to Toronto. Yusuke is from Toronto, and as you know, like one of the wonderful human beings that you get a chance to meet in this great sport. Always a smile on his face, and I know he's glad to be back in Toronto, and we're all glad to have him back.
Great young man, happy young man, and that smile is infectious.
Swing and a miss. Varsho down on strikes, 1 down.
Well, Okamoto flied out to right in his first at-bat on a sweeper away. One thing I like about what he does is he's pretty quiet with his body. It looks like he just allows that ball to travel, to get deep. He's not necessarily going to get out front and fooled so often, and he met that fastball and drilled it to right center.
Now Ernie Clement will pop one up. Remember, in the offseason, there was Okamoto and also Munetaka Murakami were the 2 big position players from Japan who had been posted and were coming over. And, certain people thought this guy was maybe the one to go after. Certain people thought that guy was the one to go after. They're very different players. Murakami, who is with the White Sox, so the Blue Jays will see him next week in Chicago. He's already got a couple of home runs, but he is much more of a big power, but a lot of swing and a miss guy. Okamoto seemed like the quote safer bet. He is a much more well-rounded hitter. Will strike out less, will hit for more of an average. We'll see about the power. But again, 30 or more home runs 6 times in Japan. So that is nothing to sneeze at.
You described it yesterday as a good hitter with power. And there is a difference between that and a power hitter, because power hitters generally, we see it on the A side, you generally see more swing and miss, more chase, but he gives you pretty good AB consistently.
2-1 now, the count on Andres Jimenez. So 3 home runs already today for the Blue Jays. Springer, Sanchez, and Okamoto. So 2 of the newcomers, each with their first regular season home run. Boy, look at the run on that one. 2-2.
We haven't seen too many changeups from Morales. We've seen the occasional sinker. I don't think he picked the right time against a guy like Sanchez that handles the ball down better.
And Morales will strike out Jimenez to end the inning. But another Blue Jay going yard. Kazuma Okamoto, 420 to right center field. Springer and company knew it and loved it.
Not you.
Welcome back. It's opening day of Junior J Sunday presented by Ontario Honda Dealers. The Jays are loving Okamoto's first home run, and I am loving being here at the WestJet flight deck. To be honest, I haven't left since my last hit because this is where all the action is with families and the kids. And here's a reminder that after the game, kids that are 12 and under can run the bases just like their favorite Jays players as well for research purposes. I actually did that earlier today, and I can confirm it was a lot of fun. I'm wondering, Dan, Joe, are you going to be doing that this season? Because I know you said you would in previous seasons.
Yeah, last year I think Emily challenged me and Buck to a race, and Buck and I were conveniently unavailable because we wouldn't have won. I mean, she'd have lapped us.
Yeah, that's not a good idea. Races wouldn't be good. I've already torn both my hamstrings.
Yeah, Emily, we've got a couple of years on you.
Yeah, we're good walkers.
Yeah. Thanks for the offer, though. 4-0 Blue Jays, top 5. And Jacob Wilson leads it off against Eric Lauer. Wilson struck out his first time up, one of 7 already for Eric Lauer. In the air, left center. Varsho chasing, can't get to it. He'll have to play it off the wall. And Wilson is into second base with the A's first hit of the ball game.
Those pitches down in the zone to Wilson, and he drives this ball deep. You see it diving right down there, and Varsho playing shading to the right center. And this pitch goes down and in. That's more pull mode. It was a changeup, but it cut on him a little bit like we saw earlier from Lauer. So that's almost just a little bit of not necessarily where you're expecting there, but hit well by Wilson.
Now Max Muncy sends the ball well hit to the opposite field, and it's gone. A line drive that sneaks over the wall into the A's bullpen. Muncy with a 2-run homer to cut the A's deficit in half.
Well, the fastball has been so good from Eric Lauer this afternoon, but these A's hitters may be going up thinking, see it a second time, maybe we can do something. Muncy is all over this pitch. I didn't know if it was going to get out, but I knew he hit it pretty hard, and he got it up just far enough.
Muncy hit 9 home runs and just over 200 at-bats a year ago with the A's.
Same spot, same spot.
So it's 4-2. Here's Darryl Hernandez. And Lauer out front 0-2. Down low, ball 1. Lauer is pretty stretched out. He worked as a starter all through the spring as kind of a just-in-case thing, and then just-in-case happened with Savage starting the year on the IL, Barrio starting the year on the IL. They knew Bieber would. And you always got to plan for the unexpected, and so they're getting good innings out of Lauer here in spite of the 2-run home run this inning. 67 pitches right now, but I would think, Joe, he could comfortably get up into the 80s.
Well, and I think you're talking about that second time through the lineup. That's when those minds are already getting together to see what the plan of attack is once they turn that lineup over again.
Strike 3 call. Their A's will not challenge. It's strikeout number 8 for Lauer.
And there it is again, dotting that fastball at the bottom of the zone. I thought we might see a challenge there. Looks like it just maybe clipped, maybe not. It would have been a very interesting challenge. And any closer than that, does it?
One down, here's Austin Wynns. The A's catcher grounded out his first time up. So last half inning, I was starting to give you a little fun fact, and then Okamoto homered, so we had to put that on hold for a while. But the win yesterday for the franchise, for the Blue Jays, put them above 500 as a franchise, like in their 50-year history. 3,857 wins, 3,856 losses. It is the first time since May of 1995 the Blue Jays have been above 500 as a franchise. They obviously had great years in the late 80s and 90s, got above 500, had a bad year in 95. And that put them below 500. And then for many, many years, they were kind of, you know, pretty good, not great. 83 wins, 79 wins, but they never got the franchise record back over 500. They got it to 500 in September of last year, but didn't get it over 500 as a franchise until yesterday. First time in over 30 years.
And interesting, the cycles. A lot of franchises go through those different cycles, and right now they're in that cycle. They're not happy with 500.
Right.
Way higher expectations now in what they're doing.
They dug themselves a bit of a hole back in the expansion years.
That'll happen. That'll happen.
From 77 through 79, even longer than that, 80 and 81, there was not a lot of winning. Then they got really good in 83, won the division in 85, and again from 83 through 93, just 11 great seasons. In on his hands and popped up. You can hear Guerrero calling for it, and he makes the catch in foul territory for out number 2.
Well, this is what fans want. They want a team that is going to be competitive year in and year out, and this is what the Blue Jays have become now, and we certainly have seen they've backed that up with the checkbooks, and they've brought in some very good players as free agents, made some great deals. But that is the plan here, and this has been a very nice little run entering 2026.
A strike to Denzel Clark, who struck out his first time up. Yeah, the expectations are high internally and externally heading into this season after what they did last year. The acquisition of Okamoto, one of the reasons why, the depth of the pitching, and just again everything they accomplished a season ago. That guy's right in the middle of all of it. Now, how about that guy coming back? Signed late. He is raring to go on Tuesday. Another big crowd, better than 42,000 Friday, over 40,000 yesterday. They might have 40. I think they do, if not close to it again here today.
Great opening weekend.
Yeah. 2-2. Got it. Lauer gets Clark for the second time in the game, and he's got 9 through 5. It is 4-2 Blue Jays as we check in with Jamie Campbell for an update.
Thank you, Dan. It's time for the in-game tracker brought to you by Bet365 in Baltimore. It was 4-0 for Minnesota, but just moments ago, Tyler O'Neill with 2 aboard clubs this ball into the corner in left. So now it's 4-3 in favor of Minnesota, bottom of the 4th at Oriole Park. Off to Cincinnati. Boston is there. Wilyer Abreu launches this one into right field off Rhett Lauder. And so Boston has a 2-0 advantage on Cincinnati. And Tampa Bay is in St. Louis today. This is Yandy Diaz at the dish, slices the baseball to right field, cashes a run for Tampa Bay. They're up 3-0 on the Cardinals in the bottom of the second. That is the in-game tracker brought to you by Bet365, home of the 5-run early payout. Download the app today.
last chance to win a trip to the Bahamas, a Toronto Springer bobblehead giveaway, and groceries for a year. Get your tickets before 10 p.m. Eastern tonight, and you'll be eligible for these incredible prizes, plus the AL Champs 50-50 jackpot, which is projected to surpass $2 million. Get tickets now at bluejays.com/5050 from Ontario, Nova Scotia, Alberta, or New Brunswick. Guys.
Emily, thank you. Alberta and New Brunswick new to the 50-50 draw this year. 4-2 Blue Jays going bottom 5. Tyler Heineman 1 for 1 on a base hit to right, his first time up. Hitting in the 9 spot today. That one will tail outside, so it's 2-0. And Pete Walker's on the phone for the first time today. We were talking about it during the break. Lauer's gone 5 innings. He's thrown 79 pitches. The top of the order is coming up. It sure looks like he is still in the game, but it also looks like they want to get somebody loose just in case. Remember, yesterday was an 11-inning game. They had to use 7 of their 8 relievers. Heineman aboard for the second time.
And the score dictates a lot. You've got a 2-run lead. If Lauer does go back out, there has to be a quick hook ready, and you have to have somebody getting going with that top of the lineup. It's a dangerous one for the Athletics.
By the way, how about a quick Mason Fluharty update? Remember those 2 comebackers that he took? And Pete Walker over a quick chat there with Lauer. Remember, Fluharty got hit by 2 comebackers. One off his thigh, one off his knee. You and I both had a chance to speak with Mason today. They actually did an X-ray on the knee. And came back negative, no issues. And he told both of us emphatically he is available today. George Springer, the batter. And it's Braden Fisher. So we don't know if Lauer is out. Walker had a conversation with him. I didn't see if there was a big hug or anything like that. And Fisher looks like he's just kind of
taking his time.
Yeah, just starting out. Throw down to first, Heineman back in.
Can imagine Fisher would not take long, and still nobody out in this innings. He could be pacing himself.
Meanwhile, activity as well in the A's pen. Right-hander J.T. Ginn. Foul back by Springer, 2-2. George has homered and lined out. And he's got that elbow guard back on this at bat after discarding it in the middle of the last at bat. Just couldn't get it on quickly enough between pitches, I think. And pitch clock's a thing, so he just got rid of it.
This is where the Blue Jays can really throw some tough plate appearances at a young pitcher. This is a kid that could have issues with his command in the first place. Keep working him. Heineman already led off with the walk.
Three-two. Swung on and missed. A fastball down near the knees, 1 down.
Like George may have been surprised by that pitch a little bit, a little bit of an awkward swing, a little bit late.
Yeah, we talk about him getting his A swing off almost all the time. That was not his A swing right there. Here's Jesus Sanchez, lined out in the first, and then hit a home run, a 2-run shot on a 3-0 pitch in the third.
And that's what we're referring to right there. The home run was on a pitch down in the zone. There's a fastball at the top that he lays off, and I think his hitting coach, Mr. Popkins, will be very happy with that. Force him down. There's a catcher pickoff.
Boy, so the catcher has thrown down to first with Heineman, and now the pitcher has thrown over to first as well.
Sometimes the catcher will flick his glove. Watch the catcher's mitt. Boom. He's watching the runner over at first and wants that pitcher to throw when he drops his glove there. Trying to catch him, maybe taking that extra step on the leadoff.
Has Heineman gotten quicker in the offseason and we're not aware of it?
I missed that scouting report. We'll have to ask him about that.
Come on, Tyler, smirk a little over there.
They're holding him on like he stole 30 last year.
That's 2 disengagements already, but again, not really a threat to run. Even after that pitch, you see the catcher wins, peeking behind Sanchez down to Heineman.
And that's what that can do, though. You start focusing on a runner that you don't really need to focus on, and then the next pitch is high and wide. Your pitcher was kind of locked in right there. You want to focus on the hitter.
Now he's falling behind.
Not sure if that's coming from the bench or if that's Austin Wynns himself, but no reason to get your pitcher out of his rhythm, especially after walking Heineman. But he had the big strikeout against Springer. Let him roll.
Now it's 3-1. Looks like Lauer's still in the game. Fisher's not doing a whole lot of throwing. He is standing on the bullpen.
He may go back out there to see Kurtz.
Yeah.
Top 2 hitters.
And Morales loses Sanchez, so it's first and second, 1 out for Guerrero. And here comes Mark Kotsay. That's going to be the last batter for Luis Morales. There's the signal. And Kotsay will take the ball from his young starter, turn it over to the bullpen. JT Ginn to face Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Of Amex.
You're watching Rogers Blue Jays baseball on Sportsnet. Bottom of the 5th inning, the Blue Jays up 4-2 and threatening. And right-hander JT Ginn makes his first appearance of the season.
He's a ground ball pitcher, and I think that's what Mark Kotsay is looking for here with 2 runners on. That ERA up over 5 last year in 23 games. He started 16 games for the Athletics, but 99 strikeouts in just 90 1/3 innings, so he can get his punch out as well. That sinker around 93, 94. That's what he's hoping to get into the ground against Vladdy.
2 on, 1 out. And Guerrero, who is 1 for 2 today, takes a strike.
Sinker, slider, cutter, very occasional changeup.
Taken low. Ginn was a 2nd-round pick in 2020 by the Mets, and was traded to the A's as part of the deal involving Chris Bassett back in 2022. Bassett, of course, now with the Baltimore Orioles in their rotation. Another good take, 2 balls and a strike. at second, Sanchez at first. And a base hit through the left side. Heineman is going to be held. And Guerrero's second hit of the ball game has loaded the bases.
Well, he got the ground ball that he wanted off the bat of Guerrero, but it found a hole on the left side. There's that two-seam grip, and you see that sinker running in. Vladdy catches the top of the baseball and beats it into the turf, but he found a hole. Carlos Vambla's holding up Heineman there at third base. Very accurate throw from Soderstrom.
So they are loaded up for Addison Barger, who is 0 for 2. Way high, ball 1. Barger, the cleanup hitter, again here today, was in there Friday. Into the cleanup spot then, did not start yesterday. Out of the chute against righties, he is the cleanup hitter for this team. 1-1.
The sinker away to Addy, I think, plays into his favor. I would see, again, maybe using the cutter in, trying to jam a power hitter like Barger that likes the ball a little bit more away from him.
The 1-1 on the way. Taken down and away, ball 2.
Ever notice that Barger has good looks at changeups? He sees changeups very well. Not that that was that close, but he just laid off that thing immediately. Did it earlier.
He's not a wild free swinger up there.
Coming in, this could be the cutter. Missed a spot.
Out of play, 2-2.
That's interesting because the catcher setting up in, they wanted to come inside there with that little front door sinker, but the pitch ends up away. But as a hitter, you don't know that they were trying to come in right there. So we'll see if Wins doesn't maybe try to go back inside, because Barger thinks they're just going away with another sinker.
Heineman at third, Sanchez at second, and Guerrero at first. And the 2-2 stays alive. Schneider among the interested observers. He and Barger very good buddies as he looks on. Barger trying to break this one open. Full count.
Gives you a tough AB, doesn't it?
He had one yesterday when he drew a walk. Had one of these types of at-bats. Heineman to walk to begin the inning, and out later Sanchez walk. Guerrero's single loaded him up. Big pitch coming right here. Outside, ball 4, and that'll get the Blue Jays another run. That is a quality plate appearance by Addison Barger.
Just outstanding, and that's from your number 4 hitter. You've got Vladdy hitting 3, who sees the zone very well, but your cleanup hitter just working the pitcher and working that walk. What a big add-on run for the Blue Jays.
You know, if he can do that on a regular basis and force them into the zone, that's where the damage comes from. Heineman got it all started. Now here's Kazuma Okamoto, who homered his last time up. Interesting where Kurtz, the first baseman, is playing, Joe. He is in on the edge of the infield grass, really. Everybody else is kind of backed up. Don't know if they, slow choppers come his way off Okamoto, if that's their scouting, or he's just trying to get something to the plate as quickly as possible. But of course, the closer you are, the less range you have.
Less range, but he's certainly focusing on the plate, trying to come home with it, and being the other way, the opposite way for a right-handed batter. They're hoping that they get a one-hopper right at him.
A chopper over the mound. There's one, and they will turn two. So Ginn gets a ground ball, gets a double play, ends the inning. 5-2 Blue Jays through 5.
Is different.
The Blue Jays trying to complete a sweep here of the A's in their first series of the season, and so far so good. Up 5-2 going to the 6th inning. Home runs for Springer, Sanchez, and Okamoto. And Eric Lauer, Joe, is indeed back on the mound to at least begin the top of the 6th.
To at least begin, and my inkling would say he's going to face Langoliers and then the lefty Nick Kurtz. We'll see how this goes with Braden Fisher pretty well ready to roll down in that Blue Jays bullpen.
I think Lauer's already done his job, and given the Blue Jays what they had hoped, every extra out that he can get here is a bonus. He's at 5 innings, 2 runs, 79 pitches. And this is the top of the order, beginning with Langoliers. A swinging strikeout in the first and a strikeout looking in the 4th. Missed away, ball 2.
And it's certainly where you're pitching the scoreboard. You're up 3, as dangerous as he is. You still have to go after Langoliers right here. No free passes.
3-0. Lauer has walked 1 and struck out 9 so far today. There's Kurtz on deck. Getting to that time of the game where the conversations are constant between a manager and a pitching coach. In the air to right, and it's playable. And that's a dangerous hitter retired for the first out here in the 6th.
It's a great pitch, but more importantly, great location. The velocity coming a tick down for Lauer, but he locates that ball away, and Langoliers cannot do much with it.
Now Kurtz struck out in the 1st and walked in the 4th. Fouls it back, and it's 0-1. Kurtz is he's a big kid, 6'5", 240, just 23 years of age. They've got some very young position players, some very talented, very young position players. Up the middle and through, a base hit for Kurtz.
Well, I think Lauer is kicking himself a little bit, gave him too good of a pitch. 0-2, a little frustrated with himself in that situation because he knew that that was going to be the last batter he sees today.
And here comes John Schneider. Braden Fisher is ready. And Eric Lauer certainly did his job here this afternoon. Pitches into the 6th. Fisher in to try to preserve this lead. A job well done by the lefty here today. Welcome back. Braden Fisher on the mound. Runner at first, 1 out. Brent Rooker is the batter for the A's. Second appearance in as many days for Fisher, who threw only 4 pitches yesterday. Got Jacob Wilson to hit into a double play ball. Into a double play. That's it. Didn't come back out for the next inning. So he's got a lot in the tank if they need it here today. 0-2. Rooker off to a slow start. 1 for 11 in the series. Got him. That didn't take long. Strikes him out on 3 pitches, 2 down.
He is a very dangerous hitter. In a good season last year, he's a 30 home run guy, and if you could keep him quiet for 3 days and just allow him to leave town, that'll be just fine by the Blue Jays. Great location that time by Fisher, getting him to chase.
Now the left-hand hitting Tyler Soderstrom, who's 0 for 2. Yes, he did, says home plate umpire Ryan Blakeney.
See the difference in those 2 breaking balls. The slider going away from Rooker. That was a curveball almost right over the top, going straight down.
Fisher with a lot of confidence in both of those pitches. Curveball again. That's 2 big kids right there. Springer and Scherzer. Like that shot we had right there. Lauer's in the background. Like Lauer's the most mature of those 3 guys, right?
He is definitely the animal. That was a real waste pitch by Fisher, and you don't want to go that high because it's literally a meaningless pitch, but he does want to mix in the fastball at times to make these breaking balls even more efficient.
Popped out of play left side. Blue Blue Jays will welcome the Colorado Rockies to the Rogers Center beginning tomorrow night. Worst team in baseball last year. Bounce to first. Easy play for Guerrero. And a couple of big outs here in the 6th for Braden Fisher. Jays flexing their muscles in this one. They have hit 3 home runs. You just saw them. Springer, Sanchez, Okamoto, and that has staked them to a 5-2 lead, Joe, here going to the bottom of the 6th.
You know who really likes those stadium sounds? The manager.
Yes.
Balls leaving the ballpark.
Yeah.
They haven't really relied on the long ball in the first 2 games of the season, but 3 of them here today has them in the lead.
Trying to sweep the A's. Here's Dalton Varsho leading off the bottom of the 6th, 0 for 2. And that got the mask of Ryan Blakeney, but you can see he's okay. Right away, Austin Wynns turned around to make sure he's okay, but fortunately, somehow that appeared to be a bit of a glancing blow.
Wynn said, "Are you okay?" He said, "Yeah, I'm fine." What do you mean? Nothing happened? Athletic trainers are always on high alert now, whether they hit the catchers, the umpires, they have to be.
Fly ball to center, but playable for Clark. And out number 1. In came on last inning, got a big double play ball off the bat of Okamoto that has kind of kept the A's within range here. Langoliers DH today, getting to now face Ernie Clement, who was 0 for 2. First pitch cutter for a strike.
And that could be a pitch where they're thinking maybe Ernie looking fastball, get that cutter to maybe go toward the end of the bat if he is hacking, but he took it.
The 1-1. Another drive to center, but again, Clark is there. Quickly 2 down.
Canada's most reliable 5G Plus network and Canada's best 5G Plus network. Rogers, we got you.
5-2 Blue Jays, bottom 6 after a pair of 1-run victories. Walk-off wins the first 2 games of the season. Oh boy, I don't know if Ryan Blakeney knows it, but he's bleeding a bit. Fortunately, he feels okay, but obviously the ball knocked part of the mask into the side of his face, and he's got some blood coming down.
The way that mask twists, that metal part can catch him, and I think it did. It looked like it pierced his skin.
1-1 on Andres Jimenez, who was 0 for 2.
I wonder if Jose Menestral sees the blood from the dugout, but he doesn't even know he's bleeding.
I'm sure they'll tend to it between innings. Jimenez trying to bunt for a base hit and nearly did, but pushed it just foul. Yeah, Jose is ready. He sees it.
He almost looked at his mask funny there as he's putting it back on. Maybe he saw a drop of blood on the mask. He might be putting 2 and 2 together here. He hasn't. I haven't seen him feel his cheek yet,
he hasn't
though.
touched it. Yeah.
Once he does that, he's going to know for sure.
Shallow center, and Denzel Clark with all 3 putouts here. End of 6. The Blue Jays lead the A's 5-2.
Closed cap.
Welcome back. It's the Blue Jays and the A's. Another view from the WestJet drone cam. Blue Jays up 5-2 going to the 7th, trying to sweep this season opening series. But we may have a bit of a delay right now here inside Rogers Center. You saw home plate umpire Ryan Blakeney kind of getting fixed up by Jose Menestral. That was Marvin Hudson, who is the crew chief with a mask, heading to the first base side of the field, which is where the umpire's room is. Blakeney went under with Jose Menestral, and that's the last time we saw him. One of the other umpires said something to Braden Fisher, probably along the lines of, don't get too ready too quick here. We've got a bit of a delay. So that's Trip Gibson, the third base umpire, talking to Fisher and explaining the situation. So we don't know. Well, now we see Blakeney back on the field.
I think what's happened is he got patched up, but Marvin Hudson might be going back to the umpire's room to get a different mask. Maybe there's something to do with the mask, whether it's the blood or maybe there's a piece of the metal that cut him. They want to get a new mask.
Right, so it looks like Blakeney is okay to continue as the home plate umpire. It's an equipment malfunction right now. So Marvin Hudson had a mask in hand. Blakeney seems fine, as you can see. So it looks like we would expect Hudson to pop back out on the first base side of the field momentarily with a new mask.
Because the umpire's room is more that way. So he'll grab one of the other guys' masks, and that can happen. The metal, these things are made of different materials now, but I'm sure a piece of that metal that we saw might have just been loose. It could be even a sharp piece of plastic can do that on the edge of a mask as well.
I'll tell you, Blakeney looks like a very good-natured guy. He's always got a smile on his face, a little dinged up, but playing hurt right now, just needs a new mask.
I can't wait to find out when he realized he was bleeding. We saw it all over his cheek.
There's Cody Ponce in the middle of your screen. He will make his Blue Jay debut tomorrow night against the Rockies. And there's the new mask. And that's actually Nick Marley, the first base ump, who went to get it. I guess each umpire obviously has his own mask. So doing a little sharing right now. Thanks, Nick. Braden Fisher, thumbs up. And ready to get back at it. 5-2 Blue Jays, top 7. Fisher got the last 2 outs of the 6th. Jacob Wilson leads off the 7th. With Mason Fluharty up in the bullpen. So again, obviously okay after getting hit by back-to-back comebackers yesterday. The second one got him on the inside of the knee, really shook him up in the moment. Wilson with a fly ball to right field. Routine for Addison Barger. Well, you always love when a guy can get you out of an inning and then come back out and try to get you through the next inning.
And is there anyone else you want on the mound in terms of a reliever here to go through that little delay right there? I mean, Braden Fisher is about as cool as they come.
Yeah.
He just took it in stride, adjusted his warm-up, no problem.
It would be hard, like if we had like a competition or a game show, who's the most good-natured player on this team? Because as we've talked about endlessly, it's a really great group of guys. But if we were having that kind of a competition, I mean, he'd be fine. He'd be right there with anybody.
Not phased by much at all.
No.
And he kind of pitches that way. He's kind of a little understated, under the radar. He just goes about his business and keeps getting big outs again today so far.
2 balls and a strike on Max Muncy. Ponce on the left, you Savage on the right. What are pitchers talking about?
Always.
Pitching.
Always. How do you hold your splitter? Yeah, that's how I hold my splitter. You would think that every grip, 4-seam, 2-seam, slide, curveball would be standard grips, but they're not. Guys will tinker with that baseball.
In the air to center. Varsho back. And there. 2 down.
Seeing 2 pretty good center fielders in this series, and Denzel Clark on the athletic side, and of course the Gold Glover out in center today, Dalton Varsho. These guys are about as good as they come. Denzel had that little miscommunication in the one game. What I loved about it is the next ball that was hit out there, he took absolute charge and would have run through anyone to catch it.
And they play center field so differently. Like Dalton's 5'8", right? He's using a lot more strides to get where he's going than Denzel Clark is. Denzel 6'3", 6'4", he's big center fielder, but they're both great in their own way. Gold Glover 2 years ago. Varsho wasn't healthy enough last year to compete for the Gold Glove. Cedar Rafaela of the Red Sox won the Gold Glove in center field in the American League last year.
They had a couple out there, didn't they, with Abreu and Wright as well?
Yeah.
I think he won the,
Yeah. It used to be just 3 outfielders got Gold Gloves. We've got a challenge coming. Ooh, just clipped the top of the zone. So the A's lose one of their 2. It used to be that it could be 3 center fielders who win the 3 Gold Gloves, but about, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago, maybe they changed it. So now it's a left and a center and a right.
Braden Fisher will catch the top of the zone on occasion with these breaking balls. they'll start up and just come back down. And as a hitter, you give up on them. So you can steal strikes up there. And I've asked him if he does that by design sometimes. He says, no, not by design, but they work. The only problem is you're flirting with fire. You don't want that thing to come down in the happy zone.
Not the A swing there from Darryl Hernandez.
That's called the emergency hack. And there's that spin on the curveball again. You give up on it. He realizes, uh-oh, it's there. He just buckled. And what makes Fisher so effective is that he has two different breaking balls, the slider and the curveball.
Trying to lean on the fastball a little bit more. Throws it 95.
He says that. I'm not believing it yet. We've seen a couple of them.
And we've seen him. He can't. We've got a pitch count issue now. Because he throws so many sliders and curveballs, sometimes he can freeze a hitter with a fastball right down the middle.
He told me in spring training, because he throws the curveball and slider so much and not so many fastballs, he wants to throw more of them, but he wants to be effective with them. He told me he was facing Adley Rutschman, and he just absolutely stared at a fastball right down the middle to start an at bat. So right away he said, of course he's looking breaker. So he wants to make sure that he can get the fastball into these hitters' heads so they can't just sit on his two breaking pitches.
Mound visit by Heineman. Pete Walker on the phone again. Flew Hardy up in the pen. Fisher trying to finish things off here, top 7. Again, the 2-2. Got it with the fastball. That is 5 big outs here today for Braden Fisher. And he finishes off the top of the 7 in style by blowing it past Darryl Hernandez.
When George Springer hit his 3-run home run in Game 7 of the ALCS last October. And where will you be during the next big moment? On Friday, April 10th, the first 15,000 fans will be able to relive the emotions of that moment with the Jumpin' George Springer bobblehead giveaway. See more at bluejays.com/promotions. Guys.
Thank you, Emily. That is going to be a big-time popular item. There's no doubt about that. That's less than 2 weeks away in the opening game of the series against the Minnesota Twins. Also a reminder, the Los Angeles Dodgers are coming to town. And that series will open a week from tomorrow. It'll be a Monday night, Tuesday night, and then a 3:07 start on Wednesday as the umpires continue to sort through which mask is best for Ryan Blakeney right now. But, Joe, that's going to be something. This early in the season, for the Dodgers to come here, that's going to be quite a scene.
You think the fans will be ready for that one?
Oh boy.
Well, we'll be ready.
Yeah. The Dodgers are 3-0. They swept Arizona. They're not playing today. A few teams aren't playing today. They swept the Diamondbacks. Will Smith hit a game-winning home run last night on his birthday as they completed the sweep. Speaking of birthdays, by the way, I'm a day late on this one, but our producer Doug Walton celebrated very quietly, celebrated a birthday yesterday, and it's It's a big round number, so we're not going to out him by saying what it is. But it's a round number you and I are approaching quickly. We're past some round numbers already.
A lot of them.
Yeah. But a happy belated birthday to the captain of our crew, our producer, Doug Wall.
Well, happy 50th, Doug.
What did you say, 50th?
I'm muffled by microphone.
Yeah, that ain't true. It's not that round number. He'd love it to be that round number. 2-2 on Tyler Heineman. Vladdy in good spirits as always. Got a couple of hits in today's game. Grounded out to second. One down.
Hit a grand slam with your next project and head to your local Home Hardware. With over 1,000 locations across Canada, Home Hardware is locally owned, genuinely Canadian.
The Blue Jays trying to go to 3-0 with a victory here today. George Springer got him started early, and I mean early, homering on the first pitch in the bottom of the first. Down low, a ball and a strike. Saw this in a research package today and was surprised to see it. The Blue Jays have only been 3-0 twice in franchise history.
Surprising.
92 and 96. Trying to get 3-0 with a win today. Springer grounds out for out number 2.
Yeah, for a franchise that's right around 500 over almost 50 seasons, you would think a few times along the way you get out to some pretty hot starts.
Boy, they would love to get out to a hot start this year again. You don't play them on paper, but after the A's, it's the Rockies and then it's the White Sox before the Dodgers get here. So if they play well, they've got a chance to get off to a very good start. Jesus Sanchez with a home run earlier today. Tommy Nance is up in the bullpen. Looks like he's coming in for the 8th. Yeah, the Blue Jays used a lot of relievers yesterday, including Nance. But both Louis Varland and Tyler Rogers have each pitched in each of the first 2 games. You don't love going 3 days in a row, and Joe, especially this early in the season, you almost never do it.
Yeah, Tommy Nance went an inning and a third, but he only threw 11 pitches, 10 strikes, very efficient. So hopefully he can come back and give them another 3 outs today.
Saw Kevin Gausman with a baseball in hand. Pitchers are always doing something. There are really no idle moments. Kevin Gausman has thrown 1,000,000 pitches in his career, and look at him just tinkering, messing around.
Those two were possessing some electric stuff in their first starts of the season.
Grounded up the middle. Wilson has it, and it's a 1-2-3. Bottom of the 7th. 5-2 Blue Jays going to the 8th, and time now for a Blue Jays Central update with Jamie and Caleb.
Dan, Home Hardware is proud to be the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Sanchez hit his first home run of the season in the 3rd, and you noticed something about the swing. What was it?
Adjustability in his kind of hip contortion, and that's what I was wondering about with Sanchez. Does he have enough in the movement to category to really get on plane? And it's exactly what he does in his first home run as a Toronto Blue Jay. Watch this back left hip of Sanchez in these next couple replays. Watch how it dips underneath. That's to get the bat on plane from a sinker, especially to high velocity. Watch it right there. That little tiny movement down and in to get underneath. I love that. Great swing from the big fella. Hopefully there's many, many more from where that came from.
3 home runs for the Blue Jays today, helping them to a 5-2 lead as we head to the 8th inning here on Sportsnet. We'll be back right after this.
Baseball is back at the Rogers Center. Now's the time to plan your regular season lineup with a flex pack. Choose 10 or more games, save on select matchups, plus receive guaranteed 2026 postseason ticket access. From theme days to giveaway games, grab the matchups you don't want to miss. Visit BlueJays.com/flexpacks to build your pack today. Guys.
Thank you, Emily. A big, big crowd again here today. It's 5-2 Blue Jays top 8, and Tommy Nance is into the game here to work the 8th inning.
Tommy did a nice job yesterday, very efficient, pounding the strike zone, retired 4 straight batters, getting out of the 7th inning and pitching a clean 8th. Trying to get 3 outs here today to set the Blue Jays up for a sweep of this series.
And Mark Kotze has 1 pinch hitter at the plate and another in the on-deck circle. It's 8-9-1 coming up for the A's. Jeff McNeil is going to hit for Austin Wins, and there's Lawrence Butler getting ready to hit for Denzel Clark. McNeil acquired in an offseason deal with the Mets, hit .243 a season ago. He will play a lot of second base for the A's this year. Didn't start today because Eric Lauer was on the mound, a lefty. Lined hard but foul, and it's 0-2. And now the next phone call. Outside for ball 1, and Mason Fluharty's up for the 2nd time. So that's got Nick Kurtz written all over it. 4th batter due up this inning.
Nance will have a shot to go 1-2-3. If not, and there's a runner on, good chance to see the lefty.
And there is out number 1 once the throw goes down to first, and there it is, a strikeout of McNeil.
There's a good curveball from Tommy Nance. He's got 2 different breaking balls, similar to Braden Fisher, where he'll throw the slider and the curveball to go to his sinker, but that curveball to lefty is straight down, and McNeil not close.
Didn't pitch a ton of high leverage innings a year ago, but a guy who can go more than an inning, and didn't find out he made the team till the last couple of days of spring training. He's out of options. I think just a guy, they know what they're getting. A reliable, dependable guy.
And that's it's a good thing. It's very valuable what he provides. If he can come in and get 4, 5, 6 outs at times.
By the way, the Blue Jays have struck out more batters in this series than in any 3-game series in franchise history. Those 2 guys did a lot of it. The guy on the left struck out 11. The guy on the right struck out 12. But the Blue Jays have now struck out 47 batters through the first, so far, in the first 3 games. 2 down on the ground ball to second.
And I think Tommy Nance knows who he is. He knows what his role is. He may have to come into those games with a 4 or 5 run deficit or lead, but come in and just have your high leverage guys stay where they are.
Top of the order, Shea Langoliers. The Blue Jays have handled him today, 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Line to center, and it's down for a base hit in front of our show. So a 2-out base runner, and the left-hand hitting Nick Kurtz coming up. With Mason Fluharty up in the pen, we'll see how John Schneider plays him. And we have our answer. He wants the lefty-lefty matchup. So Nance got the first 2, then gave up a base hit, and now Fluharty coming into the game with Kurtz coming up for the A's. Back here at Rogers Center, the Blue Jays trying to go to 3-0. They are up 5-2 on the A's, top of the 8th inning. The homestand continues with the Rockies coming in beginning tomorrow night. And Mason Fluharty did not, after what happened yesterday, did not expect to see him back in the game here today. He's got some stitch marks from the baseball on the inside of his right knee, like a stitch wound from that ball that got him, the second comebacker. And in the moment, obviously, there was a lot of concern, but by the time he woke up this morning, he was feeling a whole lot better.
He said he is good to go. 2 infield singles. Unfortunately, both of them went off his left leg. And he said it just hurts to touch, but he's okay. And I said, then don't touch it. Just go pitch.
The 0-1. Sweeper misses outside. A ball and a strike on Nick Kurtz.
Cutter sweeper, and now Kurtz has seen them both. He took a big hack at that first pitch.
Two balls and a strike. Don't know if Heineman thought about a challenge. It was close, but decided not. The Blue Jays still have both of their challenges. Swing and a miss, 2-2.
Against a good hitter like this, probably in the best interest of Fluharty to mix it up the way he is. Cutter sweeper, you see the different movement, the different velocities, make it tougher on the hitter.
And now Heineman is challenging. Again, the microphone not working today for Ryan Blakeney, the home plate umpire, but we'll get our information here soon enough, and it's strike 3. Way to go, Mason Fluharty. Way to go, Tyler Heineman.
That's it.
This
Well, from sleeping on his teammate's couch to hitting a grand slam in the World Series, Addison Barger had a memorable postseason, and you should be one of the first 15,000 fans at the ballpark on Saturday, April 11th, to receive an Addison Barger couch t-shirt giveaway. Don't miss out. Get your tickets now at bluejays.com/tickets, guys.
Davis Schneider approves. Thank you, Emily. 5-2 Blue Jays going to the bottom of the 8th. Boy, a really nice job by Braden Fisher, Tommy Nance, and Mason Fluharty so far in this game. And the Blue Jays will look to add on a little bit of insurance. Shea Langoliers is now catching. He was the DH, but they've now lost their DH. He goes behind the plate. Lawrence Butler is in center. So it looks like the pitcher spot is the 8th spot in the order, as Vladimir Guerrero Jr. leads it off for the Blue Jays, 2 for 3 with a couple of base hits. Guerrero, Barger, and Okamoto here, bottom 8. Shallow left center. Very shallow, and coming a long way is Soderstrom. 1 down. With Jeff Hoffman getting loose in the bullpen. Pitched in Friday night's game, gave up the home run to Langoliers. Wound up getting the win because the Blue Jays walked it off in the bottom of the 9th, but I'm sure Hoffman is glad, Joe, to get another opportunity to get back out there.
He struck out 4 while doing so, including that wild pitch on the 1 strikeout. So yes, he would like to clean that slate and finish off this series the right way.
It was a 98.1 mile-an-hour fastball that Langoliers hit out. It was right at the top of the zone. It's a pitch you can get away with. You can throw and not get hurt on a number of occasions, but Langoliers got to it. He's red hot, obviously, to start the season. And as you said, Hoffman struck out 4 in the inning because there was a wild pitch in there as well. So
he'll have some tough outs to get. Looks like Rooker, Soderstrom, and Wilson for the Athletics.
3, 4, 5. That is Drew Butera, the catching coach for the Blue Jays. The son of Sal Butera, former Blue Jay and a longtime Blue Jay scout. Butera had been with the White Sox for a couple of years. The Blue Jays bringing him in as a catching coach, so you can see him going over the game plan with Tyler Heineman. Boy, a lot of movement on that pitch as Ginn gets Barger 2 down.
And the information that they're going over is the matchup of Jeff Hoffman against those hitters that we listed. Heineman will be well versed when he takes the field of how he wants to attack. Good sinker that time by Gwynn. That's a tough one on a left-handed batter. You give up on that pitch because you think it's inside, and then you just watch it come over the inside corner.
Now Kazuma Okamoto, 1 for 3. He homered in the 4th. His first home run in the major leagues. Springer, Sanchez, and Okamoto have homered today, accounting for 4 of the 5 Blue Jay runs. Boy, Ginn's got everything dancing right now. He's been really good.
Good movement on that pitch. Moving it around as well.
And strike 3 called. Boy, what an outing for JT Ginn, keeping his team close. Jeff Hoffman coming on in the 9th. With you tomorrow, it'll be Cody Ponce's debut as a Toronto Blue Jay, as he will start the opening game of the series with the Colorado Rockies. Blue Jays Central starts at 6:30 Eastern, first pitch at 7:07. As for today, good pitching and a lot of power. Eric Lauer had a great day. The bullpen's been really good, and Springer, Sanchez, and Okamoto have all homered here today. The Blue Jays take a 3-run lead to the 9th for Jeff Hoffman.
Good pitching and a few long balls is usually a good recipe. Jeff Hoffman's going to try to finish it off. It didn't go as well last time. Pitched quite well aside from the one pitch to Shea Langeliers in the opener here Friday night, giving up that tying home run before the Blue Jays walked it off in the bottom of the 9th.
One defensive change. Miles Straw is now in the game and left for Jesus Sanchez. And it's Brent Rooker to lead it off for the A's. Little up and in, ball 1.
See Tyler Heineman there. It's only the first pitch of the inning, but he was just grimacing, maybe thinking of a challenge. Blue Jays still have both because of his successful one-to-end last inning.
Fastball hit to the right side. Clement to his left, on to first, 1 down.
Fastball from Hoffman getting deep on Rooker right there. That's a good sign early. Rooker having a tough series to open the season. Really good hitter for the Athletics.
Here's Tyler Soderstrom, 0 for 3. Eric Lauer went 5 1/3, gave up 2 runs, walked 1, struck out 9. And again, Braden Fisher, Tommy Nance, Mason Fluharty all getting big outs to get the ball to Hoffman here in the 9th. Quickly 0-2.
Back-to-back splitters, and I I'm not a proponent of throwing the same pitch 3 times, but I like that pitch right there. I would do it again and see if Jeff can't get it even lower. Try to get a chase at the bottom of the zone. There are times when you don't have to set a pitch up, and I think this could be one of them.
0-2. Got him. Went with the fastball for the first strikeout, and out number 2.
2 good splitters, and you follow it up with a heater. Pretty nice sequence right there. He just let this one go and blew it right by Soderstrom.
An out away from a sweep here to begin the season. The batter, Jacob Wilson. Got him to chase a slider in a good spot. 0-1. The middle, a base hit to keep it alive for the A's.
Little spinner that time. That slider hung up in the top of the zone, and when you have a contact hitter like Wilson, he's probably not going to miss it. And it's a good thing it just went for the base hit.
So now Max Muncy, who hit a 2-run homer to right in the 5th. Swings through that fastball. 0-1.
Pounding the zone, and that's what you want to see with a 3-run lead. You go right after these hitters.
Oh, and 2. 97.5 on that fastball from Hoffman. And he and the Blue Jays are a strike away. Ball game. Hoffman wasn't messing around with the last batter of the afternoon. He picks up his first save of the season, and the Toronto Blue Jays sweep the Athletics and start the season 3-0.
Pitching is the story of this first series for the Blue Jays, racking up the strikeouts against the Athletics, and they used the power of the long ball here this afternoon to sweep the Athletics and welcome the Colorado Rockies.
They did what they set out to do. It wasn't easy. The A's are an up-and-coming team, but the Blue Jays find a way to win all 3 of them. And smiles and high fives all the way around here at Rogers Center. Here are Jamie and Caleb.
Well, well, well. We didn't realize we'd be pulling this one out so early. It's a sweep of the Athletics to open the season. The Blue Jays are 3-0. This one felt a lot easier than the previous 2. Sure. I'm sure you'd agree, Caleb. He has lots to say, and there is much to enjoy about what the Blue Jays did in their home opening series. Here is what went down today with Eric Lauer, the number 3 starter, taking the mound against the Athletics, and that first inning was sensational. Swing and a miss, swing and a miss, and then swing and a miss. He strikes out the side of the first.
What a way to start.
Look at Gosman, who was terrific on opening day. Cease yesterday, and then guess where George Springer hits this to?
To Timmons.
Yes, he did. Well done. You remembered. And that was a first pitch blast. It gave the Blue Jays a 1-0 lead. Lauer goes to work in the 3rd. Denzel Clark, the Canadian kid, is his 5th strikeout victim of the day. New Blue Jay, Jesus Sanchez into the lineup, playing left field, batting second, and he also finds a way to hit it to Timmons, because that is one out of the reach of Denzel Clark. Hopkins, the hitting coach, is thrilled with what he's seeing. And oh my goodness, Kazuma Okamoto too?
Backside power, what a threat that is to have in this lineup. Beautiful swing, great balance. Wow, the boys are loving it.
And a big crowd here at the Rogers Center enjoying every second of this. It was 4-0. The Athletics get back in it this way as Muncy knocks one out to right. A 2-run shot made it 4-2, but Lauer was terrific. The bullpen was spectacular. He goes 5 1/3, allows just 2 earned runs, strikes out 9, and the Jays finish off the Athletics. Down to the field, Hazel has a guest.
3 big home runs from your Toronto Blue Jays, including the very first Major League home run from Kazuma Okamoto. Kaz, you've been in different spots in the batting order the last 3 games. How much of a challenge is it for you to be in different positions in that lineup?
この3試合、打順でいろんなところで打ってますけど、それをどういうふうにして準備してきましたかと。
いや、もう与えられたところで結果を出せるように準備してます。
Yeah, I'm just preparing every day. Yeah, I'm just making sure that I'm prepared every game, and whenever my number is called, wherever I'm in that lineup, I'm ready to go.
We've talked a lot about the transition from playing overseas to the major leagues. I know it's only been 3 games. Has anything stood out to you?
NPB とメジャーの違い感じてるかもしれないですけど、3試合だけですけど、その違いっていうのはもう感じられますかと。
はい、もう球場の雰囲気から全部が違うので、毎日勉強しながら頑張っていきたいなと思います。
Yeah, the atmosphere is great here. The fans are awesome, and yeah, I'm just gonna give it my all every game.
Before I let you go, we've talked about your budding relationship with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. What have you enjoyed about playing with Vladdy so far?
ブラディと一緒にやってきて、どうですかと。
本当にいろいろ教えてくれますし、尊敬できる選手の一人です。はい。
Yeah, Vladdy's a guy that I really look up to, and he's been teaching me a lot and taking me under his wings, and it's been awesome so far.
It's been awesome to see you so far as a member of the Blue Jays. Kaz Okamoto, the first of many home runs in the major leagues. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Kazuma Okamoto gets what some in this country might call a giant soaker, eh? As he is welcomed that way. And the word on him was, yes, there's power. There's also patience, an observation of the strike zone, and contactability. I think we're seeing a lot of that in these first 3 games.
Yeah, no question about it. I love the fact that his load is really simple. He loads into that back hip. He's got a very easy move to the ball, very repeatable, very low maintenance. And look, he is not a guy coming over here trying to feel his way through the big leagues. This is a star in the MPB coming over to big league baseball. And I'll tell you what, this swing is a thing of beauty. He kind of steps in the bucket a little bit, meaning his stride is more towards third base. But then to be able to go opposite field like that, that makes catchers go absolutely nuts. Typically when he got strides open, you think he wants to go pull side. He has the ability to go pull side, but that swing right there is an unbelievable swing. It is something that really shows his maturity, the ability to kind of open up, let that backside ride, and then swing right through that pitch. I have just been so impressed with his, I don't know, his maturity at the plate so far. Yes, he's seen a lot of velo. That was a 96-mile-an-hour fastball that he took out 110 off the bat, no doubter. And when you have opposite field power from a right-hander's perspective off of velocity, it's a very dangerous combination, because then if you throw them a hanging breaking ball, they just catch that ball just a little bit more out in front, and now you've got a pull side, Betty, And look, he looks like a complete hitter. I know it's early. There's only 3 games into the season. I get it. But I love his movements. I love where he's at. I love the fact that he seems really calm. But underneath, you can feel the feet waggling a little bit. And he's a really steady third baseman. So really, really good signs. Power, ability to kind of choke and poke with 2 strikes, get his hits. This looks like a very well-rounded hitter so far in his debut as a Toronto Blue Jay.
Unlike the first 2, the Blue Jays didn't have to come from behind to win today's ball game. They sweep the Athletics, and we'd like to hear from the men who called it, Dan Shulman and Joe Siddle.
Well, the Blue Jays set out what they had hoped to do, get off to a good start. The A's come to town. The first 2 go right down to the wire today. A little bit more breathing room, but they start 3-0. Your take on the team so far?
Well, you knew going into this series you don't want to take the Athletics lightly. It is an up-and-coming team, and they gave Blue Jays all they could handle for 3 games, but I love the way everyone contributed. John Schneider got everybody into the ball games. The starting pitchers, you got Dylan Cease, who's new to the organization. He was fabulous. You go to the bullpen, what Tyler Rogers has done. Jesus Sanchez hits one out of the park. Okamoto hits one. You can go up and down the list, but this is really the 2025 Toronto Blue Jays, how they get contributions throughout. It was a starting pitch and good bullpen work, and this lineup is going to be like that all season long. The defense was on display. This was Toronto Blue Jays baseball as we were hoping to see in 2026, and it's a great start to the season.
And they hope to add to that great start. They've got the Colorado Rockies coming in, who had the worst record in the major leagues a season ago. The Blue Jays will try to keep the good times rolling beginning on Monday night.
Gentlemen, things will continue to roll if the pitching staff continues to perform. So far, so good. Gausman in the opener, 11 strikeouts. Cease yesterday, 12 punchies. And then Lauer over 5 1/3 today, 9 strikeouts. What did you make of his performance?
You know, he reminds me a lot of Jay Happ. And I faced Jay Happ, and it's that kind of tall lefty that really kind of lulls you to sleep, and you look up and there's really nothing that kind of scares you. You don't see 100 from the left side or a big wipeout slider or some devastating split from a lefty. But it's one of those at-bats that you feel comfortable, yet very uncomfortable all in the same. And Lauer's just got that really smooth, sneaky, easy delivery. And I can tell you, when you're in the box, you just feel like you see it so well. You go to make your move, and then it's gone. I loved his distribution. 87 pitches, 52 fastballs, but here's where it caught my eye. 11 changeups, 10 cutters, 8 curveballs, and 6 sliders. There were times last year when he got fastball cutter heavy, but as you're seeing right here, he was mixing it all over the zone, up, down, on the corners. He was in total and full command. And to come out in your first start of the season with this type of pinpoint control, the ability to pull the string on some changeups, work some cutters right where they needed to be on the outer edge, he was dominant. Yes, it wasn't against an elite offense, but there's still some pretty good bats over there for the Athletics, and they're trying. They're major leaguers too. They got major league symbols on the back of their uniforms as well. So to get 9 strikeouts in his debut, he's probably not a guy you kind of lean on for strikeouts, but it just shows you his command, his ability to use all of his pitches, and that's what I'm seeing over the first 3 starts from the starters, all collectively. Totally different pitchers, but they're all using more pitches and not getting boxed into just being a 1 or 2 pitch guy. And what happens is you start making hitters chase you around the zone, and the strikeouts actually go up. This is a great sign. Love where Lauer's at. Really, really great series altogether.
Why will today's performance allow Jeff Hoffman to sleep soundly tonight?
You always want to get your closer back on the horse when he gives it up. And I love the fact that Schneider was able to get him back in there so quickly because he had good stuff, okay? He had really good stuff in his first outing, and what I saw in this outing was even better stuff. I love the location, and it looked like when he tried to go up, he went higher than high. That is a tremendous pitch to Rooker. That's what I think is going to be the key for Hoffman, his ability to get inside on the right-handers. But look at this pinpoint location on 97 up and away, and that one right there, that's a perfect pitch. You see how it's closer to the batter? If it's up and away, you give that right-hander a little bit more chance to kind of get the barrel to baseball. But as that fastball gets closer to hitters, that's when he can really exploit with the breaking balls and even work that split underneath. So I love the adjustment that he made. I love the fact that he got out there and was able to get it done. And these are the type of building blocks that you really need. When you have a great start, when you have a great appearance in terms of how you like your pitches moving, yet you get a terrible result, it's so imperative to get back on the horse, get the result you need to then make your mind kind of believe that you are exactly where you are. If you don't get that opportunity for 4 or 5 days, then you're going to kind of sit on that and maybe doubt and not be sure about it. But he was able to get right back on the horse, show that same stuff, Jamie, get the desired result he needed. I like where he's at right now.
What has the first 3 days of utilizing the ABS system taught you about Blue Jays catchers specifically?
They're going to be vital, and we know Kirk is amazing at it. We got to see Heineman really figure out his way in this system as well, and I think it's really interesting to see how they're using it. Very strategic. In spring training, they were kind of tapping that head right out the gate. But early on, you kind of see Kirk, he's set up middle in, and sometimes that's an easy pitch to get blocked out by the umpire, and you see, he has got the eye, and I would have loved to have this technology as a catcher. There were so many times when I knew that is 100% a strike. I know it's a strike, and I can't do anything about it, and I thought this was a perfect time to use it. Heineman, the pitch before, he kind of thought about it, I don't know, but you got Kurtz up there. Homer right there would have brought it to 1. Right at the top of the zone, and I think this is a skill set that is going to be developed over time, continually mixing and matching, trying to figure out when the right time is, figuring out exactly where the zone is, because again, every single hitter's strike zone is dependent on their height. They all measured at between 9 and 11 a.m., so figuring out each hitter's height is going to take a little bit of adjusting, but I love the fact that the catchers for the Blue Jays have already kind of gotten their feet wet in the system, and both were successful. This is going to be something that plays out over a season that I wish I would have had. I cannot even imagine in a tight game knowing I got a pitch on the outside corner and you're like, ring him up, buddy, and he goes ball. And then the ability to say, no, take a check. These guys are really good. They know the zone, and it's going to save them games, and it's going to be fun to watch over the course of the season how many of these games are depended based on their calls.
I cannot recall the last time we pulled the broom out of the closet for the first series of the year, but the Blue Jays earned this one over 3 against the Athletics, and now Cody Ponce. We've seen a number of Blue Jays make their debut with this team. He'll get his chance tomorrow here at the Rogers Center against the Colorado Rockies. And Blue Jays Central comes your way at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific time. There is a load of hockey on the network tonight, including 2 games in the PWHL, one on Sportsnet 1 right now, and another later on this evening. They'll sandwich that game between the Bruins and the Blue Jackets. That comes your way as well on Sportsnet today. So the Blue Jays, with Eric Lauer leading the way, hit 3 home runs and rolled to a victory over the Athletics, sweeping all 3 to open the season. George Springer played his part. So too did Jesus Sanchez. What a way to start for this club. And they'll hope to continue tomorrow against the Colorado Rockies. We hope you'll join us then. For everybody here at Sportsnet, I'm Jamie Campbell. Thank you so much for watching Blue Jays baseball.